Good evening, Mason Nation, and welcome to the 2021 Celebration of Distinction. A tradition that began more than 25 years ago as a reception honoring 4 alumni, this celebration has evolved into the premier event honoring Mason alumni and their achievements. Tonight, we are thrilled to recognize the accomplishments and service of awardees from many fields and professions. Together, we will celebrate our distinguished alumni and hear from each award recipient. The impact of Mason is beyond measure. We take great pride in your success, and we know that you take tremendous pride in Mason's mission of access and excellence as one of the nation's top research universities. Alumni are our greatest ambassadors. You support our students who are future alumni with scholarships. You provide internship and job opportunities. You share your wisdom through mentoring. You help us design courses in high-demand fields. You serve on university boards and panels and volunteer in many other ways. Tonight we celebrate alumni involvement in Mason as we honor the recipients of the George Mason University Alumni Association Awards. Thank you again, Mason Nation, for sharing your time and talent with us. We are a better university because of your involvement. And now, on with the show.
Thank you, Dr. Washington, and hello, Mason Nation. I am Cordelia Cranshaw, a 2014 graduate of the College of Health and Human Services with a Bachelor's of Social Work degree. As a proud Mason alum, it is my honor to serve as your co-host for tonight's celebration. Thank you for joining us. As Dr. Washington mentioned, the Celebration of Distinction is the longest running university-wide celebration of alumni at Mason. Our program tonight will recognize our alumni and their achievements and allow you to learn more about their time at Mason, how Mason impacted their lives, who some of their professors were, and even their favorite traditions. You'll also hear from our Alumni Association scholarship recipients. Throughout the evening, I will be joined by our Alumni Association President, Samit Shrivastava, who will present the Faculty Member of the Year, Senior of the Year, Gold Award, Alumni Service Award, and Alumnus of the Year Award to this year's recipients. So let's go ahead and get started. You can probably remember that one professor who made a huge impact on your college career. The one who reminded you that you can, and the one who really motivated you. For me, that professor was Dr. Lee. She allowed me to present my aspirations of starting a nonprofit organization to the class, and everyone was able to provide me feedback. Now, Acts of Random Kindness has been around for 6 years, and thanks to Dr. Lee for allowing me that opportunity. We asked some of our recipients who their favorite professors were, so let's see what they had to say.
All right, I'm ready. You ready? Okay.
So this was a tough one. I think I have multiple answers for this.
I was thinking about this. I can't really name one person, but I can name 2.
The first person who really influenced my career was Dr. Terrence Lyons.
The first one was Philip Buchanan in the business school.
Bob Anthony, who I had my administrative law class from.
Mezzo-soprano and director of vocal studies extraordinaire, Professor Patricia Miller, to see an African-American woman in a leadership position in a tenured faculty role, who welcomed me in my first week of school.
Honestly, before my time at Mason, when I was actually in high school, Professor Anthony Maiello he did an all-county band that I was a part of, and I remember saying, wherever that guy teaches, that's where I want to go.
Dr. Charles Smith, and he was one of the people who encouraged me to go to law school.
Professor, her name was Ellen Fagenson. I didn't realize how tough it was for women in the glass ceiling, and Ellen Fagenson opened my eyes, and I think she was absolutely incredible.
So I had the privilege of working with a diverse staff, such as Dr. Rebecca, Dr. Yu, TJ, Walter, Jennifer, Jumana, and Gary Davis, just to name a few.
Still to this day, I work with Dr. Kabir Antle in the mathematics department.
Of course, Roger Wilkins.
Roger Wilkins.
Roger Wilkins.
I was lucky enough to have had Roger Wilkins, the late Roger Wilkins, as a professor.
Professor Wilkins remained a mentor of mine well beyond my graduation from Mason in 1996.
And he was another person who was really influential in helping me decide whether I should pursue law as a career.
He also, really was a advocate of students being connected to the institution.
This is a person who was a living legend, someone who had an instrumental and a significant reputation and impact on the country during the 1960s and civil rights movements.
I had a friend of mine and we, with some trepidation, went up to talk to him because we had a midterm scheduled, but we had gotten tickets to go see Mason play in the NCAA tournament in '99. We asked if we could take the exam later so we could drive up to Boston. And not only did he agree, he let us do it. In the next class, he called us out in class and told the rest of the class, he goes, listen, I'm letting them take the exam later because they have school spirit. And we need more people with school spirit here at Mason. So he, aside from being a phenomenal professor and scholar, was just, really loved the institution and supported those who loved it too.
Hello, Mason Nation. I'm Sumit Srivastava, president of your Alumni Association. I'm honored to be co-hosting this year's celebration with Cordelia. In addition to being an active alumni volunteer for the College of Health and Human Services, Cordelia is a social worker and education specialist, and the founder of the nonprofit organization Acts of Random Kindness, which serves youth in the DC area facing life challenges. Her service is a great example of the way Mason alumni make a positive difference in our communities and our world. As you just heard from several of our recipients, Mason faculty work tirelessly to provide our students with a world-class education while being leaders in their academic disciplines. Tonight, it is my honor to recognize Dr. Peggy J. Maddox as our 2021 Faculty Member of the Year. Dr. Maddox is a professor in the College of Health and Human Services and chair of the Health Administration and Policy Department. Her nominators called her the driving force behind the many successes of the department, and said that her commitment to Mason and to health administration and policy is demonstrated by her visionary leadership, commitment to service, and her academic credibility. Her impact can be felt across Mason in its administration, academics, and in the community. Congratulations, Dr. Maddox.
I want to thank the Mason Alumni Association for selecting me as Faculty of the Year in 2021. I came to Mason some years ago as a second career in order to mentor and develop the next generation of healthcare managers, health policy specialists, and health informaticists. But how rewarding and how inspiring it is this year to receive your recognition as Faculty of the Year. There's nothing more important to any faculty on the Mason campus than being a positive influence on the graduates that we are turning into the world to make a difference in their disciplines, their fields, and their endeavors. So allow me to say again, thank you so much for this important and rewarding recognition. And thank you, alumni, for all you are doing in the world.
Thank you, Dr. Maddox, for all that you do for your students and for Mason. Congratulations on your award. I know from experience that Mason prepares its students for career ready upon graduation. My career as a social worker is grounded in the lessons and experiences that I've learned right here at Mason. Through the efforts of the University Career Services, as well as our schools and colleges, students have access to internships, networking, and many other career resources. These opportunities for real-world experiences are crucial to their success. When they graduate, our students immediately begin to make their mark. Let's listen to that next group of awardees describe how Mason really impacted their career.
The College of Visual Performing Arts is the reason why I am who I am today.
I did not know conflict resolution was something you could study. I didn't know of it as a practitioner, let alone as really a discipline you could learn about or you could think about, or even a lens for the world. And I think that to me is the most powerful part of conflict resolution.
I always had the goal or the aspiration of becoming a professional tuba player.
After Mason introduced me to a company called Accenture. It was actually Anderson Consulting at the time. I interviewed on campus, didn't really know much about the business world at all in terms of the kinds of companies. And I got a job at perhaps the #1 employer out of the, from the business school. And I never could have had that opportunity without Mason.
My real first love was always public policy. And I felt like a law degree was really, the essential degree that you had to have to do that. The emphasis on law and economics at the law school, that really was imbued into all of the curriculum.
It introduced me to the world of public health. And growing up as a first generation Latina, I had never heard about public health until I entered college.
Before I came to school, I had no idea that a career in sport was possible. I didn't know that I could study sport, and the College of Education and Human Development really opened my mind and eyes to that career path.
When I went to George Mason, I had already worked for about a year, but seeing sort of the diversity of thought across the mathematics department really unlocked new areas of exploration that I hadn't really considered prior to going to George Mason.
As you now know, I'm a judge. I'm a federal judge here in the Eastern District of Virginia. But before I was a judge, I was a trial lawyer. And so one of the things that I think really influenced me was meeting so many people from so many different cultures. And that helped me, as a trial lawyer, because there were so many, different people that I dealt with as a trial lawyer and on my juries.
Congratulations to all, and thank you for sharing your stories. In 2020, the Alumni Association Board sought a way to recognize recent graduates who have already made a significant impact within their first 10 years since graduation. This led to the creation of the Graduate of the Last Decade, or Gold Award. Tonight, I am proud to present the inaugural Gold Award to Callie Brownson, a 2016 graduate of the College of Education and Human Development, where she earned a bachelor's degree with a concentration in sports management. Currently the Chief of Staff for the Cleveland Browns in the National Football League, Callie made history this year by becoming the first woman to coach a position in a regular season NFL game. Prior to joining the Browns, Callie also led the way as a college coach at Dartmouth, where she was the first full-time female football coach in Division I. As a player, she played 8 seasons for the DC Divas of the Women's Football Alliance and was a 2-time gold medalist for Team USA's women's football. Her story has received national media attention and serves as an inspiration for other young women who might want to follow in her footsteps. As Callie told one news outlet, her goal wasn't to be the first female coach. It is to be the first of many. Please join me in congratulating Callie Brownson, our inaugural Gold Award recipient.
Hello, everyone. It's a great privilege to be addressing you today, and I'm deeply honored to accept George Mason's first ever Graduate of the Last Decade Award. I'm incredibly humbled to be recognized by an institution I called home during such a significant time in my life. George Mason set me on a path that has helped me get to a place my 21-year-old self could have never dreamt. It's a place that taught me how to push my limits, be unafraid, and to never settle for less than my worth. More importantly, George Mason gave me a foundation on which I've been able to grow and flourish, one that will forever be firmly planted beneath my feet. As I sit here today, I am a Cleveland Brown, but I'll forever be a Patriot. I'm eternally grateful, George Mason, and thank you again.
Congratulations again, Callie. Thank you for being such an amazing trailblazer. Mason Nation, do any of these ring a bell? Painting the benches on the quad, rubbing George's toe for good luck, or singing the Mason fight song? The answer is these are all Mason traditions and some of my favorite. Now let's hear what our next distinguished alumni said were their favorite Mason traditions.
Easy. I look forward to Mason Madness every year.
Patriots Day.
It's probably attending homecoming.
Mason Pride Week.
During International Week, I loved the fact that the Johnson Center had all the different flags hanging of all the different countries.
You know, I think I took it for granted the many years that I lived in the DC area.
I think my favorite Mason traditions tend to revolve around not settings, but really the people and the ways we could convene together.
The benches out front of the library, that's something I noticed right away, all of the painted benches. And I think it really shows the diversity of interest, diversity of background that George Mason can proudly claim.
And especially with the Green Machine, for me, that's kind of where a lot of the heritage or the tradition does exist is with that band.
And Mason had an annual spring step show every year, and our sorority participated in it, as did the other 8 sororities and fraternities under NPHC. And that spring step show was something that we all looked forward to throughout the year. We practiced hard for.
The basketball games, I've been having season tickets since 1993 now. After graduation, started going to the games, and my son grew up going to the games.
Got to be George Mason basketball with the Green Machine. I've been going to games for decades.
I think Mason Pond. Everyone has tried to go to Mason Pond, feed the ducks. In moments of weakness, maybe try to swim in there.
Over winter break, when a lot of the students go home, there's still basketball games happening, and there's still a need for some presence of the Green Machine to be there. I think I did that every year. Doc maybe will say otherwise, but I think I did it every year.
For me, having served on the board now for 4 years, I see things like graduation much more differently. I see the impact something like graduation has on the lives of as many as 4,000 people at a pond.
Thank you again, everyone. The fight song is one of my favorite traditions, so I'm excited to now welcome Doc Nix in the Green Machine to perform the Mason fight song. Take it away, Doc.
Patriots, my name is Trishana Bowden, and I'm fortunate to serve as your Vice President of Advancement and Alumni Relations. In addition to raising money for scholarships and student needs, my team is also fortunate enough to get to work with many volunteers. In fact, our work would not even be possible without volunteers. Dr. King once said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" Our alumni and volunteers, time and time again, answer this question. You all show up, you engage, and you show dedication to this incredible university. I am constantly impressed and honored by your enthusiasm and willingness to do so much for others. Thank you truly for all you do. The Mason family is stronger because of you. And now it is my pleasure to introduce this year's Alumni Service Award recipient, Mr. Jason Howell.
Good evening, and thank you, George Mason University, for this meaningful award. Like many of you over the past year, I've been thinking a lot about meaning, the meaning of life, just trying to get it. And all I've been able to figure out so far is that the meaning of my life probably has very little to do with my own perspective and much more to do with the effect my life may have had on others, from when I was a baby through being a kid, a student at George Mason University, to whatever this is. I don't think I'll ever get the meaning of my life. I can probably only give it. To that end, I've also thought a lot about love over the past while. I know I've been busy. And I think love is just a deep appreciation for the meaning that others have had in your life. And so to that end, I love my wife, Jennifer, don't deserve her. I love my daughters, Audrey and Eden. I probably deserve them. I love my business partner, Doug, and his family. And I love the many alumni I've had the opportunity to serve with over all these years, and who are likely the reason I'm being recognized at all tonight. Finally, I can't leave without expressing my love for the faculty and staff at George Mason University. I love you, Nikki, Katie, Nicole Kelly, that's old school, Maury, Christina, Ann Magro, Derek, Dawn, Eleanor, Carrie, JK, Chris behind the camera, Patrick. I love George Mason University, and I thank you for loving me back. Good evening and good night.
Thank you, Trishana, and congratulations, Jason. Mason provides our students with a transformational learning experience that helps them grow as individuals, scholars, and professionals, and prepares them to be citizens of the world upon graduation. But it is also a place where lifelong friendships are formed and memories are made that stay with us long after graduation. So we asked our awardees to share some of their favorite student memories. Here's what they said.
It's hard to kind of think of one thing when it comes to that.
There are a lot of small things that happen that, that I can't attach a particular date to, like socializing with a lot of my friends at the Black Student Alliance office that was in Sub 1 at the time, grabbing a burger, with some of my friends downstairs at the Rat.
Probably just meeting other students, who I made friends with, and these students were coming from all over the Commonwealth, all over the country, and in some cases all over the world.
What I loved about Mason were that there were so many clubs and opportunities and groups of people that you could be a part of.
But I can say that I met some of my best friends even to date at Mason, both in the undergrad program and the grad program. I actually met the person whom I went on to marry at Mason in the undergrad program.
Tons of memories of being in the computer lab overnight, pulling all-nighters, trying to get your software to work, collaborating with friends.
Studying late at night in the JC with my friends. And the inclusive atmosphere Mason provided where I could be my true, authentic self.
I was an early Mason basketball huge fan. My friends and I, who all went to Mason, we worked a lot and we went to school and we were close together. We had front row in the Patriot Center for all 4 years.
I was a freshman when we went to the Final Four. And, as a 19-year-old kid traversing my way through college, what a time. And I went to every single game.
I remember playing in my first opera role, a sorcerer in Dido and Aeneas.
Going to San Antonio and listening to math talks all day, and then getting dinner with other mathematics students and professors at the end of the day. Sounds super nerdy, but it was a lot of fun.
So this was still in the old building at the law school. So, there were a lot of jokes about, it being the former department store in Arlington. Probably everyone who went to the law school then, has memories of and makes jokes about, riding the escalator from the first floor to the second floor.
In the spring, when the weather is nice, back then there was the quad and the old quad now, I guess, when there were a lot of things happening. There was no more sense of community than that. And I think back to those days pretty fondly. I think back to the people I spent time with then. I think back to the relationships I built back then. And a lot of those experiences and those relationships are critical to who I am as a person today.
Going back to school as an older student, one of my first classes, the professor said, okay, we're going to do a team project. So go and meet with the rest of your classmates. I thought, oh, great. I don't know anyone. I don't look like a lot of the younger ones. And then I hear from behind me 2 rows back, Kevin. And I look, and there's a table full of young folks from all over the world waving at me. Come here. I think that's just Mason. No matter who you are, no matter what you look like, they bring you in and become part of the class and part of the family.
Now it's time to turn our attention to standouts amongst current Mason students. The Senior of the Year Award recognizes a graduating senior for outstanding contributions in the areas of academic excellence, participation in student life, leadership, and service to the university and community. This year's recipient is described as a determined and disciplined student leader. She currently serves as the president of the African Student Association and previously served as a treasurer. She is a secretary for the Black Mambas dance team and the chairperson for the Student Chapter Reporting and Evaluating Program Organization for Mason's chapter of the National Association of Black Accountants. She does all of this while pursuing a degree in accounting with a minor in entrepreneurship. In addition to her leadership roles at Mason, she also established a nonprofit called Safe Haven that addresses and combats stigmas about mental health. Please join me in congratulating our Senior of the Year, Isabella Ba.
Hello, my name is Isabella Ba, and I'm extremely grateful to be receiving George Mason University's Senior of the Year Award. I'd like to take this time to thank my family, my close friends, and my colleagues for all of the unconditional love and support and inspiration that they've given me over the years, because quite honestly, I don't think I'd be able to receive an award like this had it not been for them. I'd also love to thank the committee for recognizing all of my hard work and achievements over the past few years. Moving forward, as I start the next chapter in my life, I promise to continue to work hard and to persevere through the difficult times, as I believe all of my efforts will allow me to accomplish all of my future goals and to make my dreams a reality. Thank you so much. Take care.
Congratulations, Isabella. For many of our students, scholarships are the difference between finishing their degree or not. It definitely was the case for me. Scholarships help alleviate financial burdens of our students and allow them to pursue their dreams of higher education. Each year, the Alumni Association awards 6 scholarships. The Peter C. Forami Student Leadership Scholarship, the George Mason University Alumni Association Service Scholarship, the Black Scholars Endowed Scholarship, the John C. and Louise P. Wood Undergrad and Graduate Scholarship, and the 50th Anniversary Scholarship. Now let's see this year's scholarship recipients.
This scholarship is important because it shows that there are people in the Mason community who are here to help you, uplift you, and support you when needed.
This scholarship will allow my family to pay for room and board, books, fees, and my meal plan.
My service award from the Alumni Association gives me peace of mind and allows me the opportunity to further invest my time and energy into the things I love doing, which is community building.
And I can continue my work as a student leader, being involved in organizations and event planning, as well as continue to pursue my degree as a film and video studies student.
At one point in my educational journey, I had to get a medical withdrawal due to a mental health crisis. To call this a setback is an understatement. But receiving this scholarship after getting the help that I need confirms for me that I'm poised to make a major comeback.
Due to the pandemic, my mom has been unemployed for a year now,
And with my brother planning on entering college this coming semester, our financial situation was looking like it was going to get worse, but the scholarship will definitely help us in that aspect.
It will also allow me to continue taking advantage of the opportunities that George Mason has to offer.
I can keep making short films and honing my craft because of your generosity, and I am extremely grateful for that.
My time at George Mason University has been so transformative because of the support within our Patriot community.
What also helped me move closer to my mission of making a positive impact in the world through studying conflict analysis and resolution.
It also shows that through hard work and dedication, things can work out. I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity and thank everybody for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Because our future depends on a healthy planet, we like to take a moment to note that today, April 22nd, is also Earth Day. Led by Mason's Office of Sustainability, together we celebrate this year's theme of Mason Patriots for Our Planet. Mason is nationally recognized as a leader in environmental studies and sustainability. Thanks to programs like the Institute for Sustainable Earth, the Smithsonian Mason School of Conservation, the Honeybee Initiative, and our campus greenhouse and gardens. Every day, our students take meaningful action to conserve and restore our environment. Last year, for example, Mason students planned and hosted the first ever virtual Virginia Environmental Justice Summit for college students. And last month, more than 150 people attended the second annual summit. Now let's watch some of our students in action. Mason Nation, it has been a pleasure to join you tonight. I enjoyed learning more about our distinguished alumni, and I'm so full of Mason pride seeing all the great things our fellow graduates are doing and the difference they're making in the world. I'd also like to thank my co-host for his service as our Alumni Association President. Samit, back at you.
Thank you, Cordelia. What a pleasure to serve with you tonight. Please keep making the Mason Nation proud. Our alumni share their patriot pride in so many ways, whether it's sharing the Mason story, attending arts and athletic events, or supporting our alma mater with a charitable gift. It all matters. Each year, the Alumni Association presents the Alumnus of the Year award to one person who embodies that Mason spirit. The Alumnus of the Year distinguishes themselves through professional or personal achievement, through selfless service to the community, and through meaningful involvement in the life of the university. This year's recipient began his service to Mason as a student and has never stopped serving his alma mater. Whether serving as a member of the Black Alumni Chapter, the Honors College Advisory Board, the Green Machine Advisory Board, the Patriot Club, or even as a past president of the George Mason University Alumni Association, you can always find him telling the Mason story and displaying his Mason pride. You will also find him holding out a hand to bring someone else along. Mason Nation, it is now my honor to recognize Chris Preston, a 1996 graduate of the School of Business, as our 2021 Alumnus of the Year. Congratulations, Chris.
Wow, 2021 Alumnus of the Year. Thank you to the Alumni Association. And while I realize this seems like a personal award, to me this is more of a team award to thank all of those who've been a part of helping me create my Mason story. Yet beyond my faith, my family, my friends, and my work with United Way, Mason is truly my mission of choice. And with that mission of choice, I promise to use this recognition to help others like myself create their own Mason story. Thanks again.
Congratulations again, Chris, and thank you for all that you do on behalf of Mason. Like Chris, our Alumni Association board members exemplify the Mason spirit. They work tirelessly to engage our alumni by creating programming and events that support alums where you live, work, and play. Before we end tonight's program, I want to thank our outgoing board members for their service and dedication. Thank you to Ty Carlson, Vice President of the Work Committee, and to Directors at Large Shatrain Burble and David Canos. I'd also like to thank Pete Farrell, a past president, vice president, and treasurer of the Alumni Association, as well as a faculty member who will retire from Mason this year. Pete, thank you for all that you've done for the Alumni Association, and congratulations on your retirement. And finally, I'd like to give a special thank you to Jen Shelton. Jen has served in many positions during her time on the board, including most recently as immediate past president. She has been a valued advisor to me, and our Alumni Association is better because of her service. Thank you, Jen. That completes our 2021 Celebration of Distinction. Thanks, Patriots, for joining us this evening. I want to also thank my co-host, Cordelia Cranshaw, Mason President, Dr. Gregory Washington, and Vice President of Advancement and Alumni Relations, Trishana Bowden, as well as Doc Nix and the Green Machine for leading us through the fight song. Now, let's recognize our awardees one last time. Congratulations, everyone, and go Mason.
A dream that I can speak to, a dream that I